this, I'm at the beach up all.
Guten Tag, morning, nice and decent people. Good morning from me to you.
Good morning.
Hope everyone is well, strong, fed, and COVID free. Remember them ones? Hard to imagine that shit was 6 years ago, you know. It's mad. Big up to everyone locked in. And the final is set. What a surprise, yeah? The Newcastle remontada was over before it began. Sorry, Specs. I mean, I told you it was going to be a punch-up. But you know what? These coaches, I have to pick a bone with these coaches. And Eddie Howe is one of the few that are one of the few British coaches or Englishmen that's given any kind of credibility to the few English managers that can manage in the Premier League at the highest level. And yesterday, he didn't do himself any favors, Eddie Howe. And that Liam, the Chelsea manager, yeah, showed up to the Emirates with his infinite wisdom that he's being praised for and put a back three on the pitch to defend a 1-goal deficit when he right? 3 center backs, 2 wing backs, and 2 DMs. Enzo Fernandez and Liam Delabja Pedro when you need a goal. You know what I mean? That's just a whole host of defenders when you're down 1-0. And they lost the game, lost the tie. Now, what does Eddie Howe do with his infinite wisdom? Shows up at the Etihad with a back three, a bunch of defenders to defend a 2-goal deficit. End up conceding in the first fucking 5 minutes of the game. Imagine that. This is what happens when, you know, the players don't even believe in your fuckery. When you concede 5 minutes in the game, when you're set up defensively, now they're mentally gone. These managers they just can't seem to get out of their own way sometimes. Don't know what they were thinking. How does that make sense? You know, you're gonna set up to defend and end up conceding and losing badly anyway. This is what people would have said if you went out and attacked. Well, you might as well have done that. I know hindsight is 2020, but I never understood the idea of setting up defensively when you are the one that's down. You know what I mean? To play shit football. I don't know. This reminds me of when the away goal rule was a thing, when teams used to go away, set up defensively and try to nick an away goal at the end. One of the reasons why UEFA got rid of that shit. Now, the away goal rule used to bring some drama and some madness to the end of knockout games. I'm not gonna lie, but it's because of shit tactics like this, where you got teams setting up deliberately not to concede, not to lose. These modern day managers, man, they need a shot of courage. You know, they need to be injected with some bravery. Some of these men, because I don't know what they're on, but yes, it is set. It's Arsenal. The city, as everyone knew it was going to be, and the possibility exists that we could get some fixture fatigue over this one, because now we're going to play them in the final, have to play them again in the league. We may even meet them in the Champions League, so that we could play these. Imagine we meet in the FA Cup. We meet in the FA Cup. It could be 4, possibly 6 more times or 5 more times that we're playing these men. Nobody want to see that shit. Want to see City at Wembley, see him at the Etihad, and any other time we want to see City should be in another final at Wembley in the FA Cup. But I don't want to see these men in the Champions League because yesterday we talked about the law of averages. The law of averages won't allow us to support and beat us, get us to just beat these men over and over and over again. You know what I mean? But it is set, and the whole world on March 22nd are fans of City. Yeah? Big up to 19 of you all locked in, man. Big up to Bluebird. Big up to the monster in the building. Big up to War of the Walks. I think that's Anfield the Red who changed his name because he got the Diogo Jota logo. Big him up. Everyone must be going about their smiles on their face today. The energy around the fan base is different, monster. This is what we're talking about. Get to the finals consistently. You're going to have some trophies. You know what I mean? 50-50 chance of Tottenham and United in a final. You know, Tottenham walk away with the trophy. It's one of them ones. You get to them, you might win a few. You know what I mean? Big up to AJ, the mod god, man like Wahaha, the United ambassador in the building. This weekend, you know. Hey, Tottenham are on a high. Tottenham, Man United. One of my favorite fixtures in English football. One of my favorite fixtures to watch as a neutral, as a rival, because whoever loses, I'm happy. I won't care if this one ends in the draw. You know, I'd be delighted if Liverpool and City ends in the draw. You know, that's actually the most likely outcome, or a Liverpool win. Or is Liverpool gonna do the Tottenham thing and let City turn them over for the title race? Like, I think the Liverpool faithful got too much respect for themselves to do that. I expect Liverpool to turn up this weekend. You heard me? Big up, man. Eddie Howe can't take Newcastle forward no more. I think he speaks, yeah? So there used to be this big discussion on every time I used to go on Joy the Dread TV with Specs, because he is a house sexual. He is a top tune. You know, he is a full, whatever Eddie Howe says is gospel to him. And he always liked to have a dig at us. Eddie Howe or Arteta. Everyone on there. And there used to be mass debates. Cav and the Waffle Down, everyone used to argue for Eddie Howe and argue for Arteta. And I'm sitting there like, this is a mid-off to me. Because who cares, isn't it? Like, who gives a damn? When it was time for me to chime in on that piece of the conversation, my opinion was, if the biggest job in football became available, or the biggest jobs in football became available, the Real Madrids, the Barcelonas, the Bayern Munichs, neither one of them are getting a phone call. None of those jobs become open. Arteta or Eddie Howe are getting a phone call. So it's a mid-off to me, you know? But the fact that Eddie Howe goes, the same year Arteta was appointed, Eddie Howe relegated Bournemouth in 2019. Yeah? Relegated Bournemouth, then he went off and learned his trade. I think he went to Italy or somewhere. Then he came back, made his 2 finals, won one of them and lost the other one, consistently getting to finals. You see a theme here. 2 finals in 3 years, the level of consistency there. Lost one, won the other one since Arteta has been here. So, you know, there's pro and cons of whichever one you like. You can make the case, but it's a mid-off to me. I don't think either one of them gets a phone call if the biggest jobs in football become available. And this was before the Vincent Kompany appointment to Bayern Munich, because that right there is something that you will never see again. A guy relegate one team in one league and get the biggest job in another league. That's just based off Pep's endorsement, isn't it? Especially when they fired a proven winner, Thomas Tuchel, to take a risk on Kompany. But shit, it worked out. You know, big up to Guna Rican in the house. What you telling me, my friend? You good, yeah? Can see how leaving at the end of the season if they don't get UCL footed. There is no way they're getting UCL, bro. So the other night I was on Jordy Dread, the night owl session, and I told him, I'm like, you can finish in a conference league spot, right? Because right now Brentford is in 7th. Sunderland is above you. How do you even allow that to happen? You're a Champions League team, your biggest rival, newly promoted, and they're ahead of you. So yeah, they need us to do them a favor this weekend. Do them a solid. But I don't see Newcastle finishing in the Champions League spots. No way. If Liverpool finish in Champions, if not Liverpool, if Newcastle finishes in a Champions League spot, that means that Chelsea or Liverpool are not playing Champions League next season. And that would be, good for the algorithms and good for for content purposes. But I don't see that happen. I think they should be a shot for 7th. Brentford, who a lot of people, to include myself, picked to go down, are currently in 7th on 11 wins. Newcastle only on 9 wins. Not a good look for Eddie, but yeah, I think he's peaked. But we can say that for quite a few of our few of the managers in this league, to be fair. AJ said I would still take Eddie Howe over Arteta in a heartbeat. And I think what I said about him relegated Burnley, going to learn his craft and coming back and making it to 2 finals, right? Lost to United in a final, then getting back to another final and beating a better Liverpool team, right? A Premier League champion Liverpool team in a final like that. So, that advantage Eddie there. Big up to Kwa. Big up to the assembled. Big up to Ramba, Kanamba, Wembley settings with some brother. We're there. We're outside. Rich. We're finally rich. Oh, man. Big up, man. And just, admin note, at 7:15, I will be over by Rashid for the, I think it's called the Raise the Standards podcast with him and Real Schooner. I think Kenny Ken might be there as well. And obviously, it's Thursday. That will lead right into the Bruce Banana on the legend that is Shane Guna channel. So we will be there. Jam-packed day of content today, people. How would you describe the way how would you describe the way Arsenal play football? Slow, rigid, disciplined in defense. Very disciplined in defense, hard to beat. And I say very disciplined in defense because if you ever notice, whenever Arsenal football goes the ball, even though we want to have the ball, whenever we lose it, we never hunt the ball down in packs like Man City does. Like you see the Manchester Derby, Man City was hunting down the ball and United was just knocking the ball through them like a rondo. We don't do that. We do that in spurts, like when we're chasing the game or something like that. But for the most part, over the course of 90 minutes, we don't do that. We lose the ball, we get back in shape. We rush to get back in shape instead of chasing the ball down. And that's why we're so damn difficult to play through and play against, right? But, the Arsenal way of playing football, get the ball, pass the ball, silky moving, crisp passes, triangles, overloads on this side, that side. Yeah, we don't do that anymore. Our style of football right now doesn't really have a style. It's just control, very good at set pieces, but it's all about control with Mikel at this point. Don't know where he developed that habit, but stuck with it for at least the rest of the season, right? Dare I say, 14 games remaining, right? We might see 14 of the most stinkiest games that you will see potential Premier League champion play, right? And I was on with Gianni yesterday. Big up the homie. Big up Gianni. Bad Boy show yesterday. I was telling him that imagine a world where Arteta shit houses or plays like this, the way we play, and then we wrap up the league with 8-9 more wins because City have a dip. And then for the remaining 5 games of the season, the football doesn't change. Then you're like, okay, he can't coach the attack to play that he wants it to play, because if the pressure is completely off and you have already won the Premier League and you still can't play a aesthetically pleasing football, right? You can't play football that's easy on the eyes. Why bother? And then at the end of the season, Berta, Josh, and all the bigger heads, they have a decision to make. They'll be like, Mikel, can you change the way you play football for it to be more entertaining? And if you can't, just tell us now. But what will the priority be? Sexy football or retain the Premier League title? Because I'm not sure if I'm a believer that we can retain the Premier League title playing the type of football that we are playing right now. Because I don't think the league will be as See that cluster that they have right there between like third and seventh. I'm not sure that will be there next year. I think there will be some more separation next year between that traditional top six. Big up to joints, manners and respect. AJ says, I keep hearing Emery and Eddie to swap clubs this summer. I just don't see it. I'm hearing Emery being linked to Madrid. The poison chalice, the most toxic job in football. I'm hearing that he is linked to it. I'm like, oh shit. Emery, because Emery's press conferences is him doing a lot of explaining. You ever notice that? Especially when he was at Arsenal. Big up Jagans. I respect James Bond, the general them. Big up. Whenever he was at Arsenal, his press conference was a lot of explaining. Now, part of that was a language barrier, and his English has gotten better now. But can you imagine him at the Bernabeu explaining shit performances? It doesn't work there. They will sack him. It will not work there. It will not work. I dropped in on that stream. That reminds me, Dress is always the second biggest club in the Northeast. Yeah, man. The Jordan Dread. He popped in here yesterday, said, "See you in the final." I'm like, okay. Score a goal in the first half. You score first. You go in down at 2-1 at the half. You come out in the second half. Eddie's big bad pep talk, and you give City a go, kind of like Tottenham did, and you might have a chance. But 5 minutes in, with 7 damn defenders on the pitch, you're down a goal. Imagine that. Timber, Bukayo, Martin Odegaard did not appear in training today. See, Odegaard is not going to appear in training. They have to sell the narrative that he's actually injured. Ain't nothing wrong with that boy. I'm telling you, they're protecting him. Arteta is protecting him because he's out of form and he had to drop him to get to this final. He had to. Kind of like how the Chelsea man them are trying to run the Cole Palmer thing now, talking about Cole Palmer is not fully fit. I just saw him play 90 minutes against West Ham. Not fully fit my ass. I'm gonna hear this shit about not fully fit. But NBA last night, Jokic was supposed to be on a minute restriction. A minute's restriction against my New York Knicks. He was supposed to play 25 minutes. The game went to double overtime. He played 44 minutes. Minutes restriction, my ass. Yeah. Injured my ass. His pride is hurt. I think that's the only thing wrong with Martin Odegaard at the minute. His pride is hurt. That's the only pain he's feeling. It's like, I can't lead my men out. I cannot lead Arsenal Football Club to a final. And they removed him out of the firing line. That's all that was to me. Right? Yesterday, me and was talking. Yeah, it was Gianni. I was on with Gianni yesterday, and we were talking about in the final. No, it was actually Guna Rican. I was talking to Guna Rican yesterday. He was on the channel. And I was saying to him, in this final, it's not going to be Arsenal domination from minute 1 to minute 90. It's not. This is going to be a tough game. There's lots floating in the spaces about who's actually favorites, but we'll get into that in a second. But it's going to be a difficult game, meaning there is going to be a certain part of the game where we are going to be under the cosh. It's going to be a difficult period. Now, do you trust Martin Odegaard to lead Arsenal through that difficult period? Now, he usually folds with the pressure. I want that pressure on Declan's shoulders, on Gabriel Magalhães's shoulders. Now, of course, Odegaard can feature. He can play, but he can't start. Not when we had to hide you for the semis, my bro. Big up to Jagans, man. Big up to Guna SC. Manners and respect. How was being mentioned for the United job when Amorim got sacked? Don't know about how. Yeah, I don't think he wants those problems either, man. He's just not that guy. Yeah, would be good for English managers if Eddie Howe got one of the big jobs. You know what I mean? Because that's just in the English Premier League. Even last year, either last year or the season before, I think Eddie Howe was the only one because Gary O'Neill got fired from Wolves. And then they sacked Steve Cooper from, what was he at? Look at where he was at. And then Russell Martin got sacked from Southampton. And if Lopetegui didn't get sacked and Graham Potter didn't go in there, it would have Eddie Howe would have been the only Englishman. But then Potter went in there and he got sacked. It's just not looking good for them. If Odegaard and Timber are now injured, that's 1-1. Oh, shit, we're creeping up on that 1-1-5. Now, when this story actually broke about how many injuries we actually have in the squad, I'm saying it was going to get to 150 by the end of the season. Right now, it damn sure looks like it's trending that way. It could be. I mean, he's due for a rest. Every minute's on that right flank, because Timber gives you the same effort defending as he does going forward. You know what I mean? So you can rotate Timber, give Timber a rest against Sunderland. I'm calm with that. As much as I love Timber, surely can't expect him to play 38 Premier League games. And Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, Sunderland on the road. Two different Sunderlands, don't it? Big up to Jaggons, man. One doesn't respect my brother. Mr. Pads had to play banned from TV after the cup game. What you mean? Talk your shit, Mr. Pads. Set pieces can be used for attacking or defending. So obviously we plan for the other teams to score, or this must be part of the attacking. We're peppering teams, and we're getting corners, or you're getting fouls in dangerous areas. Yeah, definitely you're going to use the set pieces to your advantage. But sometimes it seems like we're deliberately playing for corners, especially when it's Martinelli down on the wing with his fullback. Like when man's trying to kick the ball off his shin to get a corner instead of going around him. You know what I mean? Bring the biz out to Madrid with him now. I don't see him. I don't know why he would take that damn job. Like you've done well with Sevilla. To an extent, you've done well with Villarreal. The Madrid is going to end one way for you now. You know what I mean? Xabi Alonso played for these men and they chased him out the door. Like, who are you? Vinny ain't trying to do what you're trying to do. He ain't doing it. And the crowd gonna turn on you before they turn on him. Didn't matter what Eddie did last night. Joe Linton and Bruno were injured. Willock and Ramsey ain't gonna win you any games. No, they got Big Bad Tonali out there, man. Big Bad Tonali, that Dreadman TV from 90s Mags is telling me is the best midfielder in the Prem. I'm like, brother, just calm down, man. Just calm down. Didn't appear in the media training. Gotcha. Odegaard must be mid. He needs time to assess why he's mid. But only his. I don't think he's injured. Obviously, I don't know, but I've seen this in sports many, many times. When across sports, NFL, NBA, when there is a star or a high-profile player, a captain or a star that you need to take out the firing line, you have to say that he's injured. Ben Simmons, dubious back injury until they got rid of him. You know? Leicester. Gotcha. Yeah, Leicester. Steve Cooper was at Leicester. Appreciate that, Guna. SD. Odegaard is mentally weak like Zinni. He's probably going through a doubt rubbish. Instead of us focusing on being better and helping the team. I think if he's there or thereabouts, like he came on against Leeds and did well. There was no pressure. We're up in the game, and you can just out there go do your thing. But if you have to bring him on and say, "Hey, win us this game," it's going to end badly more often than not. With that, I failed again. Look on his face. You know what I mean? Marino injured simply because he put Eze on the bench for a month. Had he rotated, Marino might have been okay. And this is something that Shane Guna has been beating home for a while. Shane Guna is beating this dead horse. This is kind of like how the injury works. Now, there's some disagreement there. Like, Because Shane wants, when Shane says rotation, he wants to start rotating the squad for match week 2. Like the second game, you should start rotating. I'm like, not so soon. Okay. You're a professional athlete, you've had a preseason, you play one game, the second game to develop some rhythm. The second game is too early to start rotating. Now, if there's mitigating circumstances, you're coming off the back of a long tournament and all that stuff. Yeah, I get it. But all things being equal, in the regular calendar season of football, second game is too early to start rotating. But once you start getting up there close to double digits, yeah, you have to start rotating the players. You know, not using Norgard also, yeah. And he raves about Norgard, you know. It seems like the more nice things they say about the players, the less they play him. You know, because he said the same thing about Ethan. He used to say the same things about Nico Pepe. Oh, he trains like an animal. He does this, he does that. But he doesn't play. You know, if he does all these things so well that you applaud, why doesn't he play? That's what footballers want to do. They want to play, you know what I mean? But we touched on it earlier, people. We're talking about favorites. Who is the favorite in the final on the 22nd? And for the first time, if someone would ask me and say, well, you have to give an answer. You know, once you can't sit on the fence. And I'll be like, I'm sorry, but I have to. Who is the favorite? Hands down favorite. I think this is like one of those contested presidential elections. You know what I mean? It can go either way. Man City ain't in the greatest form, but they have world-class players and they have match winners. You know, they got the Allen of the world. They got Churchy. They got Marmouche scoring a brace. They got Philip Walter Foden. And they have the ultimate trump card in Pep Guardiola. Right? He can't play in the final because he wasn't registered from what I'm hearing. But I think Diaz is back. That Max Elaine is recalled from loan. Young, inexperienced, can be got at. Kushmanov doesn't scare anyone. Nathan Ake doesn't scare anyone. Our strength is our defense, right? Our strength, while we have a puncher's chance and how we got here to this final, is our defense. We can stop anyone from scoring, to include Man City. Problem is, we're waiting for the attack to catch up to the defense. Most times in football, that shit is usually the other way around. Most big clubs in elite competition often score a lot of goals, spend a lot of money on attacking players and invest their money there, score a lot of goals, but sometimes they concede a bunch. Not us. We don't concede a whole lot. Matter of fact, we might concede less than 30 goals this year. We got 14 games remaining. We've conceded 14 or 17 goals, I think. Something there or thereabouts. 14 games remaining, so there might be 4 or 5 more clean sheets in there. In 8 or 9 games, I don't think we concede, 15 or 16 goals. So we might concede right around 30 or fewer goals. 20-something goals this year. That's pretty good over a 38-game stretch. But I don't know who's the favorite. Manchester City can beat Arsenal at Wembley. It can happen. I know the energy around the fan base is different and everyone is gassed and everything. But let's not act like the job is done. That's why yesterday's thumbnail was job not done. Point blank and simple. Because there's a lot of work to do. This is the toughest team that we're going to face in this competition, and they're in the final for a reason. First versus second in the country, playing for the first trophy available. That's how you would have it. But there are circumstances that are going to be leading up to that game that we can't predict right now. But if the game was being played today, who wins it? I don't know. Honestly, don't. Obviously, I'm backing us to win. I'm going to pick us to win. But it's going to be a nervy 90 minutes. Media training and real team training are 2 different things. Media training is for appearances. Yep. Roll the players out. You keep Odegaard away. You keep Saka away. You keep all these guys away. Yeah. And then the cameras go away. They roll out. City favorites all day long, say Guna SC. And that's the thing. What are the odds? Right? What are the odds when because there are overwhelming favorites Is it a 80-20 favorite, 60-40, or is it a 51.1 and a 49.9? Right? Because if Arsenal beat City on the day, it's not an upset. Right? Back in the day when the FA Cup final, it was City and Watford, I think. Watford had won that would have been an upset. You know what I mean? So going into this one, I like our chances, or I wouldn't have been gassed about heading to the final. I remember back in 07 when the Cleveland Cavaliers made it to the NBA Finals, and I've never seen this in my life. Every single pundit, every basketball analysis, any basketball analyst, can't even talk this morning, predicted, hey, it's done here. It's done. They're getting swept. It's over. San Antonio Spurs are winning the NBA title. And so it was. That was LeBron's first appearance in the final. 2007, San Antonio Spurs. 4 games, 4 wins, swept. You know, that would have been an upset if the Cavs have won that. You know what I mean? So our odds shouldn't be that low if we're the underdogs in this game. Quadra says, yes, indeed, Timber did not appear in training. I don't know. It depends on leg of his. Yeah, I mean, Timber, I'm saying Timber is due for a rest, man. You know, there's taxing on him. Wouldn't mind if Timber get a rest here and there. Rest him here, rest in Brentford. You know, North London Derby, he's back out there. I think we got Chelsea shortly thereafter. Yeah, speaking of Chelsea, I'm getting some Chelsea fatigue. You know, I'm tired of these, man. We got him in 4 match weeks. It was only Port Vale, Brighton, Palace, 50% of Chelsea squad. No, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that, Guna SD. No. How did Chelsea get to the semis? They had Cardiff and Wolves. You know, I know we like to downplay our own journey because you know it's the real thing and it's the keep your feet on the ground shit. But no one cares who United play when they beat Coventry to get to the final. So we're not doing the port and the Brighton team that we played Brighton with. We rotated damn near 11 players as well, and we rotated against Palace. So the 50% Chelsea squad. No. Cole Palmer was available and fit. You know, Esteval, the next coming up, Lamine Yamal was fit. I'm not letting the Chelsea man run that agenda. I'm not hearing none of that. Each area of the team has scored defense 6 goals, midfield 15 goals, attack 33 goals. I'd say we aren't attacking, but the numbers say different. Yeah, but you see, of these, the 33 from the attack, how many of those came from set pieces? You know what I mean? Because Nunny's goal, he's an attacker, but that was a set piece. Right? So it's not that the attack is not attacking. It's not clinical. But goals in general are down across the Prem. Because Man City, they haven't scored 50 goals yet. They've only scored 3 more goals than us, and they have a 20-goal a season scorer. Or 20. He's been on 20 goals per time in Erling Haaland, and they've only scored 3 more goals than us. United have only scored 2 less goals than us. You know, so goals across the board are down this season. We might not score 70 goals. You know what I mean? Get another right winger in the summer. I think the Rodrigo thing is sailed, bro. I think most Arsenal fans are turned on Rodrigo anyway. Like, bro, Omar would rather sit and rot on the bench in Madrid rather than get regular time at Arsenal. You know, I think Julian Alvarez over the summer sounds like a more practical option, you know, rather than Rodrigo. I don't think that boy is leaving Madrid. especially with the manager turnover, because this Arbeloa guy, obviously he's not going to be there. Now, who is going to take that poison chalice in the summer? Is it Unai? I don't know. Some crazy person's going to take it. You know what I mean? It's the biggest job in football. Someone's definitely going to take it. Need Timber to 2 weeks off ain't happening. White can only play 1 game a week. Yeah, I'm not even comfortable with Ben White finishing a full 90. And I say rotate Timber. I mean, rotate him out the starting lineup for a bit, not rotate him out the squad. You know, you pay Ben White 60 minutes, 70, 75, and you take him off. You build him back up to 90. I don't think he has 90 minutes, not Prem minutes. 90 minutes against Wigan, yeah, you know. But again, up against Premier League wingers, week in, week out. I'm sorry, Benny Blanco. He's not there yet. Really? I didn't see it. I didn't see your comment disappear, Guna SC. Let's put it back in. Look out for it. I'll sell Mr. Danaman, Rico Waniri, and Ben Saka until further notice. You know, Saka. When Saka, you know what's crazy though? When Odegaard first got injured, not the knee against West Ham, the shoulder, the first shoulder, right? Was that Leeds or West or Forest? One of those games. The first games where Ethan came on, the 5-0 or whatever. No one panicked. When Odegaard got injured, he was like, "Oh shit, no one panicked. We have Ethan, we have Eze. We were gonna be fine, and we were fine. We went on a damn good run of form. I think it was 8 unbeaten, 8 wins, clean sheets out the ass, and all that." But when Saka went down with his other hamstring or his other leg, no one panicked either. And it's not because we love Nani. It's because Saka hasn't been great. And I do think Saka hears the noise about him not being great. Because it sometimes shows in his selfish play. Don't it? I don't want It's kind of, I link it to the Vlahovic one. Remember Vlahovic? Daily Dusan. I'm living in Germany at the time. Every 5 seconds is a YouTube. It was Daily Dusan on Curtis Shaw. It was Daily Dusan on 12th Man on the Invincibles podcast on AFT. Dusan. When we were desperate for a striker then. You know what I mean? And man went to Juventus, and all of a sudden, Juventus flushed you out in 2 years, and fuck that. Nope. Don't want you now, bro. You wanted to go to Juve, you go to Juve and rot. You want to stay at Bayern? Stay up at Madrid and sit on the bench? You know, you do your thing. I stand by this. If we lose the final, sack him on the Wembley pitch. Now, there is a big talking point that what happens if the result goes this way or if it goes that way, right? If we go to Wembley and lose, everyone is expecting, oh, this is the catalyst. This is this is the beginning of the end of the Arsenal season. They lose the final, they're going to hang their heads. It's going to spill over to the Prem and all that stuff. Now, I'm going to do some more deep dive into that. I'm going to analyze the fixtures leading up to that because Champions League comes back 10 days before that final is played. So we will know, who our opponents are and the scheduling, all that stuff, right? Travel, all that fuck with it. So I'll do some more analysis leading up to the game. However, a loss could do X, Y, and Z. And I hear that. It's a fair shout because it can happen. We've seen key losses ruin seasons before. But this core bunch of players, if they lose this EFL Cup, they have one response that's acceptable, and it's okay. We weren't in charge of that. Or we're not in charge of who we get in the Champions League. We don't know who we're going to get in the FA Cup, blah, blah, blah. But this Premier League thing, we're still in charge of this. We're in control of what happens to this Premier League. So this one that we almost won, that we could have won, let's focus all our damn attention on this one that we have to win. Right? And then we go back to, we'll be treating those remaining 11, 10 games as cup finals. Remember, 19 cup finals. 18, 17. we had a boo-boo on some of those cup finals, with Forest and Liverpool and Man United. But you treat them as such, and you give it even if you have to sacrifice the damn FA Cup to make sure that you win this Premier League. That's what you have to do. We're gonna hang our heads and no. Nobody gonna be feeling sorry. Big up to Prome. Big up Prome every time, bro. Big up Mr. Pads as well. Prome saying get the likes up. Come on, people. Let's get to 20. The Assemble said, BBK, if you take Marino, Havertz, Trossard, Martinelli out of the attacking goals and put it in the midfield, you'll get a truer reflection of what it's right at. You know what, the Assemble? And this is why I don't really stats are great, but the thing with stats is you can manipulate numbers to tell any story you want them to tell. Because we saw, remember Liverpool went on this run, and it was the worst undefeated run that they called it, because there was a lot of draws in there. Draw, win, draw, win, draw. And then there was a loss in there. I don't know who beat Liverpool recently, right? Then they had a lot. It was Bournemouth. Was it Bournemouth? Whoever beat Liverpool, all of a sudden that undefeated turns into winless because there was a bunch of draws and then a loss. So that one loss at the end now changes the entire narrative. For 90 minutes ago, you were undefeated in 10. Now at the final, so you're winless in 4. Stats. You can manipulate them to tell any story you want to tell, man. Make way for Nani. Issues too far away. That goal that he scored against Club Brugge, if you give him that same play to execute 10 times, how many times do you think he gets the shot on target? How many times do we think he slaps that in the top corner? Now, to get it on target in the top corner is very difficult to do, right? But that's why I said just get it on target. Most of the times he's gonna sky it. Accuracy by volume, I guess. Round 16 draw is on 27 Feb. Okay, got that. Yeah, so we will know leading up to that what the fixture congestion look like, right? Because we know that's a thing. What's the travel like? Are we going to Dortmund? Are we going to Atalanta? I don't want Dortmund. I really don't. One second. Excuse me. Yeah, I really don't want Dortmund because that stadium, like I said, all the stadiums that I've been to when I was in Germany, that Signal Iduna Park is a special place. And granted, the first leg will, be away and we'll have a chance to close out whoever we get at home. But it's one of those places where you want to kill the tie off in the first leg like we did against PSV, like we did against Chelsea. But that would be very difficult. Give me Leverkusen, you know what I'm saying? Give me Leverkusen or Benfica or some shit. But then again, Benfica, do you really want, goddamn old Uncle Jose Mourinho in the final? Because he can stink house. Not in the final, but in the knockout run. You know what I mean? Because he's the original shit house, Imagine that. Imagine dumped out the Champions League to a washed version of Jose Mourinho. That would be mad. 1 second, people. I'm just looking at the Sky Sports news in the background. And even Sky Sports are out here talking about the damn Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl weekend, y'all. This Sunday is Super Bowl, I think it's 60 now. Super Bowl 60, their numbers. So we got Seattle Seahawks, the New England Patriots playing for all the marbles. Most of the people here, well, obviously, I'm living in Seattle, everyone here. But it's a military town, so there are people from, the Northeast and the New England area. So they're sprinkled here. But yeah, everyone's fully expecting Seattle to win. So Seattle is the Man City. New England Patriots are the Arsenal, or the underdog. That's how that's going to play out. But it's Sunday, big game. I'm only focused on Sunderland. The final is in March. No interest now. Sunderland, a problem. And this is why I have the thumbnail made the way I did. I got Arteta next to Regis Debris. Right? because our focus is shifting. We have Premier League, FA Cup. 10 March, 11 March, we kick another Champions League ball. 22 March, we kick EFL final. Get it? Now, it's time that we go on a run. I find myself saying this over and over, and we keep giving opportunities to widen the gap. And I'm wondering just how many opportunities are going to be presented to us to widen the gap, and we let them get away. For example, the Forest, the United, and the Liverpool game was a great opportunity for us to pull away. Now, I'm expecting City to drop points this weekend, right? But we play first. 6 points clear. You go 9 points clear, and then it's their move. Now, I don't think they're going to. Maybe Liverpool don't win, but I don't think Liverpool lose at home to this version of City. Like, Man City embarrassed these men at Etihad Stadium in the reverse fixture. Like, Jeremy Doku was out there on smoke, scoring screamers in that. Jeremy Doku, who has frustrated the shit out of Man City fans to the point where Man City fans are saying, we need to upgrade on a winger. I'm like, damn, bro, you just got Semenyo, you got Savinho there. You're so rich in the winger position, you were able to get rid of Grealish. You didn't even try to get your ROI on 100 million Grealish. You let them go on loan. So I think Liverpool will get something out of this game. So by the time the Premier League dust settles, and it's leading up to March 22nd, and all the hoopla surrounding that fixture, our lead shouldn't be less than 6 points. It should be 6 points or more. Dare I say, can you use Sunderland to make up some more of your goal difference? Because right now we're +3. Sunderland have had some poor results this season, especially away from home. Let's hand them another one. Let's give them another bad day away from the office. That's the task at hand. Because right now we'll win 11 Premier League games. That should be enough to give us the title. And that's not including the points that I'm expecting City to drop at Anfield. Right? But yeah, I completely agree that we need to focus on Sunderland wholeheartedly. Because we put a run of games together, because it gets tricky towards the end. And we have Brighton and Bournemouth leading up to match week 33. And we will see how it goes. But yeah, Sunderland, they're gonna give us problems. That Brian Brobby, he's an ox. It's gonna be a wrestling match with him and Gabriel back there because he is strong. And the thing is, he scored that last minute equalizer on the strength of a Gabriel mistake. And we know Gabriel, he remembers shit, right? He is petty like that. He was petty against who was it? Was it Onana? The Villa game when they had the Champions League trophy. He was petty against them. He was petty against Brentford when he avenged that loss that 3-4 seasons ago. So we know he's petty. Get your leg back, Gabriel. But we just lost at home, and it's still Sunderland. Yeah, we did just lose at home. And it's 1 in what? 1 in 12. No one expected us to lose at home. That's why the internet went on meltdown. Man like the Waffle Don and a couple others were saying we're going to go undefeated at home this season, which wasn't a crazy take. Doesn't mean they were going to win them all, because quite a few people had predicted us to draw with Man United. When they got back to 2-2, man was ready to get out of there with a draw. I'm like, nah, bro, we need to win this damn game, bro. But United had other plans. Gunnar SE has the PTSD rising to the surface. We all have, the PTSD from Arsenal dropping points, but this would be bad. This would be an upset. Conceding 2-3 goals at the Emirates with this core bunch of players in the form that we've been on. Now, even though we just lost at home, but that's still, if you play 12 Premier League games and 10, draw one, lose one, that's still pretty good. Yeah. So I'm not worried about our home form per se. We're gonna lose one. I don't think anyone is undefeated at home. But before I lie, I mean, Forest went to Anfield and beat Liverpool. You know what I mean? This type of shit happens, but it has to be curtailed. Yeah. City have one loss at home. We have one. Sunderland are undefeated at Stadium of Light. Look at that. Yeah. Look at that. That's pretty impressive. To be a newly promoted team and this late in the season, you're the only one who doesn't have a home loss. It's impressive. Not gonna lie. That's mad. But the away form is 17. They have 2 away wins. So I like our chances. I like our chances to get the job done against these men. Yeah. But yeah, as far as the thing goes with who's favorites, it's one of the ones where I'm gonna sit on the fence. I have to. It's deadlock. There's so much information to process between now and then. And I'm sure that the odds makers between now and March 22nd, right before kickoff, there is going to be some movement. There's going to be some fluctuation with Arsenal actual favorites, what the numbers are. Because right now we're favorites to win the Premier League. I'm looking at the odds this morning. It's negative 550, right? Meaning you would have to bet $550 to win 100 if you were betting on Arsenal. So the odds in the final will fluctuate a whole lot between now and then. If we get closer to it, I'll see. But speaking of this score right here, Guna SC 2-3-0. This is one of the talking points that will be leading up to the game. What if Arsenal actually get beat 2-3-0? Like, if we get beat convincingly in a final, could that be the blow that makes these guys hang their heads and be like, shit, man, maybe we're not as good as we thought we were? Nah. They can't have that response. Because then it's the same Arsenal. Then they wouldn't have learned. Then what happened to progression? You got over the semifinal hurdle. There is no home and away leg. This is a one-off game. They got 11 players. You got 11 players. Bro, this is the highest level of football. Give yourself a chance. Zubimendi, don't go out there and hit the self-destruct button this time. Because if you do this in a final, the fan base will turn on you. I said on Gianni's channel yesterday, I'm sitting there like, you know what? I'm going to give him, Zubimendi, a full season. The same way last year I wasn't ready to throw Calafiori out. Quite a few people were ready to throw him out. It's a different league. It's his first season. 21 years old, young player. Give him another year. This year, to be fair to him, he has looked better. Zubimendi was always going to have an adjustment period in this league, in this team. He always was. So I'm not going to be too hard on him this season. That doesn't mean you just keep getting pickpocketed and getting Raya lobbed or doing suicidal back passes to Man United players. Needs to fix that up. Definitely needs to fix that up. But I can't give an answer on the favorites or this and that. I'm deadlocked in the middle. I think it's split. I think it's anybody's game. Anyone. I think City can move to us. I think we can get moved to. We can win this game 1-0, 2-1. They can win this game 2-0, 3-2. Or we could go to pens. But I'm not sure I want to go to pens with Donnarumma still. I'm not going to lie. Big up Lynch. As I respect the Lynch. Lynch in the house. What you telling me, Lynch? You good? Arsenal favorites are underdogs. Ballard will just disgrace Gabriel like Maguire did not. There is no one can disgrace Gabriel. No one. No one. Gabriel is Gabriel. And he walks into all y'all teams. But that doesn't mean he's invincible. You got a mistake in him just like all of us does. But I'm here for it. I think Gabriel is up for a challenge. I've seen him keep Erling Haaland quiet. I've seen him keep Madman quiet. So, with the craziest prediction of all time. Pick up the Suge, the legend that is Suge, man. Suge, what you telling me? Big you up, man. And I don't know what the hell happened that summoned all the legends in here at one time. But right after Suge, the legendary Wahaha, in come the legend that is E. Ross.
Maybach music.
Put your motherfucking hands up. Girl in a bikini.
Girls everything. From London, Canada, and the US. Don't put on the bed. Don't put on the bed. Don't put on the box. And me just put on me, give me girl. Rock up, rock up, rock up. Hear me the Babylon boy. Now you want to suck up. She can't feel than your fear. You dance and lift in your hand in the ear. Then you rock, then you dip. Give me the girl, let me the wickedest slum. The kind of girl when no feel love up, she man. It's all about Romy and the big fat sister Naomi.
Oh yo!
Out in the street, they call it murder.
Big up to the boss of the chat room, man. Man like E. Ross every time. Whether he's early, whether he's late, he's all great. That's who he is. Big him up every time. This can't happen, Wahaha. We will not allow it. Meltdown scenes, you know. We'll be starting this stream of music, but it won't be that one. Yeah, there will be a cold corner next week. So Cav had a little operation that forced him out of commission. That's why when he's on Jordy Dread as of late, his camera is off. But yeah, as soon as he gets well enough to get back on camera, we'll do another cold corner, man. Big up, Mr. Pads. Big you up. Displace, not disgrace. Half my comments won't. Brother, I don't know, you know. I'm gonna check my settings when I end the stream, man. But yeah, some shouldn't be popping up and some shouldn't be. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. Maybe it's the power of the E. Ross, man. Hey, you know what it is, man. You know what that. You don't even have to be looking. You can just. There's an audio and visual version where E. Ross hop in the chat, man. Big him up. The Maybach Don, you know. Yeah, Doc. Big up, man. Big up to you, man. I was trying to keep under an hour, and we're just coming up under an hour. So I'm glad E. Ross was able to pop up in here before we ended the stream today. Because I have 2 other shows today, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on Rashid at 7:15, and then the Bruce Banana with Shane Gooner. So, yeah, I am going to go check out why Gooner SC comments can't pop in. I'm going to have to go in my settings and make sure that I don't have any words flagged or anything, because YouTube just does dumb shit like that. Yeah, man, big up to you, E. Ross, the legend that you are, man. Manners and respect to you every time. Love. Suge, what you telling me? Jagan said, we can't wait for you to some music on these. Right, I'm ready, man. So the trophy, you know, when we win this EFL Cup, I got a couple of mixes. But right, I don't want to put the horse before the court, you know. So yeah, big up, man. Big up, Suge. Nagging cough. Man, you got to drink some honey and lemon out there, Suge. You know, you got all that organic good stuff in the homeland. So big up, man. Jez is on live with Deluded soon. Cool. Yeah, man. Big up to Jez and big up to Deluded. Yeah, man. Big up to the doctor and everyone. I got some gym time that I got to go kill, and then it's, you know, on with Rashid, and then leading into the Bruce Banana. So I am gonna have to love you and leave you, people. So big up to you, man. It's love. Listen, big up to E. Ross, man. When E. Ross come through, when E. Ross come through, it's hard to end the stream when E. Ross come through. You know, so who them? Well done. Hey, big up to E. Ross, man. Listen, if someone would ask me where this E. Ross thing started, don't know, but I'm glad it did.
Yo, so me say again, slew them up, their feelings them a carry, them done but already, and them can't say them sorry, yeah.
Hey, listen, people, like I always say, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, we are on.